Hey everyone, and welcome to Business Basics Hub. We're all about making those tricky business topics super simple. Just a quick heads up before we dive in. Everything here is for educational purposes only, so it's not legal or financial advice. Okay, with that out of the way, let's get right to it.
So let me ask you something. Are you a doctor, a lawyer, maybe a therapist, or another professional who needs a state license to do what you do? If you're nodding along right now and thinking about starting your own practice, then you are in exactly the right place. Because I bet you've seen this one weird acronym pop up in your research, the PLLC.
So what on earth is a PLLC? Let's break it down. We're going to start with a really simple, clear definition of this very specialized business tool.
Okay, so a PLLC stands for Professional Limited Liability Company. Basically, it's a special type of LLC that was created just for people who provide services that require a state-issued license. You might be wondering, why the special treatment? Well, think about it from the state's perspective. They want to make sure that licensed pros can't just hide behind a regular LLC to, completely avoid personal responsibility for the expert work they do. And that's exactly why the PLLC exists.
I love this analogy. It makes it so clear. Think of it like this. A regular LLC, that's your general-purpose hammer. You can use it for almost any job, right? It's super useful. But a PLLC, that's more like a surgeon's scalpel. It's a highly specialized tool designed for a very specific, very regulated job. You just wouldn't use one for the other's task.
All right, so why are we even talking about this? Why does this difference matter so much? Well, it's actually incredibly important. It all comes down to who is legally allowed to use this structure and, more importantly, what your state and your licensing board require for your specific profession.
Now, the list of who needs a PLLC can vary a bit from state to state, but you're almost always going to see these professions on it. We're talking about doctors and dentists, lawyers, accountants and CPAs, architects, engineers, therapists, psychologists, and chiropractors. If your job is on this list, you really need to pay attention, because there's a good chance your state legally requires you to form a PLLC, not a regular LLC.
This slide right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the matter. So look at a regular LLC. It's pretty open. Almost any kind of business can use it, and anyone can own it. But a PLLC, it's way more exclusive. It's only for those state-licensed professional services, and ownership is almost always restricted to those same licensed pros. But here's the biggest difference, the one that trips people up, the formation process. With an LLC, you just file with the state. With a PLLC, you have to file with the state, plus get approval from your professional licensing board first. That is a huge extra step you can't miss.
Okay, so you figured out you need one. How do you actually, form it? It's definitely a bit more involved than a regular LLC. But don't worry, we can break it down into a simple 6-step overview.
Let's walk through these real quick. Step 1, do your homework. You have to confirm your state and licensing board's specific rules. Step 2, choose a name that follows all the rules. Now, step 3 is the big one I just mentioned. You must get your licensing board's approval before you file anything with the state. Got it? Good. After that, you'll draft your operating agreement, handle your taxes by getting an EIN, and finally, step 6, get insurance. And that last step, insurance, well, that's connected to the single biggest mistake people make when they think about a PLLC.
Okay, listen up, because this next part is probably the most important thing we're going to talk about today. It's the biggest misconception about PLLCs, and honestly, getting this wrong can be a massive, massive mistake.
It's so easy to see those words limited liability and just assume you're totally protected from everything, right? But that can be a really dangerous assumption. So let me ask you this straight up. Does a PLLC protect you from your own professional mistakes? The answer is a hard no. Absolutely not.
So this is the crucial part to understand. Let's talk about what a PLLC does protect you from. It puts a shield between your personal assets and your general business debts, things like your office lease or a slip-and-fall lawsuit in your lobby. It also protects you personally if one of your partners messes up. But here's what it absolutely 100% does not protect you from: your own professional malpractice or negligence. And there's a really good reason for this. States never wanted to create a loophole for a doctor or a lawyer to escape personal responsibility for their own expert actions. That's what malpractice insurance is for, and it is completely non-negotiable.
Okay, so we've covered a lot. With all of that in mind, how do you make the final call? Let's just boil it all down into one simple decision guide.
When you get right down to it, the decision is actually pretty simple.
You should choose a regular LLC if your business is not a licensed profession. You're running an e-commerce store, a consulting business, a marketing agency, but you choose a professional LLC, a PLLC, if you are a licensed professional, and here's the key part, your state requires you to. See? For most of the folks we're talking to today, it isn't really a choice at all. It's a legal requirement you have to follow.
And that's the PLLC in a nutshell. It's an absolutely critical tool, but it's a specialized one designed for a very specific job. Hey, if this guide helped clear things up for you, do me a favor and hit that like button, and be sure to subscribe to Business Basics Hub for more simple explainers just like this one. Oh, and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next video. Thanks so much for watching.